Yes. Thank you for having us here. What Vicki didn't tell you was that she's one of our board members. We have a fairly small board with a local vet and some other volunteers, and Vicki has really been a strong influence with some of the things that we're doing. I should also mention that she does a lot of her large mural work in our barn, so we get to see the creativity as it's happening. I wanted to first tell you a few things to give you a picture of the magnitude of what we're talking about here with the connection of domestic violence against women, domestic violence in general, because certainly there are men included, and the abuse of children and the animal abuse. And we run into all three of those. To give you a little idea in terms of animal abuse, approximately 70% of homes in the United States have pets in them. And those are homes with children. 70% of these homes have children and pets. The connection between children and pets is pretty amazing. In fact, the one statistic that really, to me, is very important is that 32% of women with children report that their children were also abusive toward animals. So we're looking at not just the effect of abuse on the domestic violence survivor, but we're looking at the effect of their children and how they look at animals in the community, how they're going to grow up with violence. There's just a lot of intertwining there, and that was an important figure that I thought that you might want to hear. As you may already know, abusers use animals to frighten and control battered partners, to control and silence children about domestic violence in the home or sexual abuse, and to prevent the battered partner from leaving the home or coercing her to return. Many times we've heard people say, and I'm sure that the staff with Melissa also have heard that the woman say, I would never have left if I didn't have a place for my pet. And there is a statistic out there that 70%, I can't tie it down to who said it, but I believe that 70% of women would not leave their home, but would stay with the abuser if they did not have a place for the pets. To give you a little bit of an idea of what we do, there is a description on the back page of the program, but in general, Safe Haven provides just that, a safe haven for the pets of women, and I keep saying women because I know that actually I should be saying survivors, domestic violence survivors, who need short-term foster care while they are in the shelter getting their lives back together. And many times the children are with them. When I say short-term, we say 30 to 60 days, which I think is the average that a survivor would be in the shelter, and we will extend that to 90 days if the individual needs longer time to get housing or jobs or kids situated in school, that type of thing. I pretty much run that program. I don't know whether Joy Wagner's here yet or not. Are you there? Raise your hand. I don't think so. I wanted to introduce her. She's away right now with a pet emergency, so it's kind of appropriate that if she had to be taken away, it was related to a pet. But I think she'll be here a little later. Our goal basically is to lessen the burden that domestic violence survivors have when they are going into a shelter. They're all obviously very traumatized by that whole movement into a shelter and the decision to leave the home. And if they have children, that's one more major worry, is how the children are going to react. We take the burden away from those individuals by making sure that their pets have a safe haven and they don't have to worry about them. We not only provide a safe haven in a foster home, we also provide medical care. And our goal is that when the pet goes back to the owner, we have provided medical care to the point that that pet is probably healthier than when the dog or cat or whatever type of animal came into our program. Many times abusers will not allow the pet owner to even have routine vaccinations or heartworm prevention or even heartworm testing, if we're talking about a dog. Anything that's routine, that doesn't usually occur. So we try to bring the animal first up to good health, and that's one of the first things that we do when they come into our program. I got a call recently from the DVPI that indicated that there was an individual with a dog that had been kicked in the head. Not the individual, but the dog. I think the individual was probably also, but we picked up the dog as soon as possible that day and took her to a vet to have her checked over and make sure that she was okay. And then, of course, we did the routine medical triage that we usually do when a pet comes into the program. After that point, we look at a foster home that might take the pet. We have all kinds of people that will take horses, reptiles, birds. The most common, though, are obviously dogs and cats, and that's usually what we're dealing with. And we will take pit bulls, though most people don't think we will. We will. So if you're working with someone that says, I can't find a place for my pit bull, at least we can also accommodate them with that. They may have a harder time when they leave the shelter finding housing, but we even try to support them after that. We have one woman who had a pit bull. We returned the pit bull to her home, her new home, and she had a lot of problems with her neighbor. And the neighbor was calling the police and saying, I can't have a pit bull next door to me. And we got involved to advocate for that. So we even do things after the pet leaves if we're needed. I think the one thing that I would want to say is, and Dr. King had suggested this also, that this is a community effort. We need to all pull together and work together, and it's obvious that we're doing that by what we're doing here tonight. We need lots of volunteer hours. We need many people to do many things. If nothing else, transporting a dog to the vet, or taking a cat to be spayed or neutered, because that's part of what we will do. And all monies that we raise are all used completely for the pets. So those are some things that I'd like to leave you with to let you know that if you would like to get involved personally with what we're doing, we certainly would welcome you. And thanks for having me.